Yeah, hello everyone. And first and foremost, I'd like to extend my deep gratitude towards our organizers, Satyam and the team who are organizing the event. It's a very great pleasure to see us and open source community में इतने सारे enthusiasts देखना बहुत अच्छी बात लगती है, and it's very great to see all of us. Uh, to get to know the audience, and first and foremost, like to understand how many of us are a beginner or trying to understand the Kubernetes, or are in the journey of exploring the things. I just need a small hands up. Beginners. Got it. And second thing, who are experienced enough on the Kubernetes. Nice. So for the experienced people, just stay put and relate to the topics which I'm going to share, and just laugh. And कौन केक के लिए आया? केक के लिए मैं. Okay, so moving onwards to the things. So I'll structure this talk in 3 major steps. First is basically the introduction for myself. Second is the instances which I have found funny in the Kubernetes. Basically, the blunders I've made, honestly, and because no one is here from the Ramdist, so I can share them openly. And the third is basically I'll open the round for the Q&A. Majorly, I'll take the questions from you all and the experiences you have felt so far.
Target being recorded.
Oh, really? Okay, so hello everyone, this is Kubernetes Confessions. I wish I knew it before. And I've kept this name because in my initial days of Kubernetes, I was like, बहुत आसान सा है, and I'll directly make the pods. I'll directly containerize my application, and everyone will, per hour chalegi application. And first and foremost, everyone is comfortable with a mixed language, right? Hindi and English, correct? Cool. So about myself, a little bit. I am Somil, and I'm a DevOps engineer at Lemondesk right now. More of a platform engineer because I write code as well. And that's boring part. But yeah, I am a tracker, a musician and a sportsman as well. So anyone who plays music can connect to me. Flute and guitar. So, yeah. Cool. Moving onwards. This is a disclaimer that the instances which I'm going to share are my very initial days thing. This is not me today. Okay, so don't get wrong judgments. So first and foremost, my first task which I got with the Kubernetes was to delete a pod. Just a simple task. Just go and delete a pod. It was my very initial task. So I went in the cluster like every general person, and I went delete pod. Now to my very surprise, pod came back up again. I was like, the jadoo ho raha hai. I deleted it again. It again came back. Then I went to my senior, यार ये बार-बार pod up आ रहा है. बोले कि HPA बैठा है पीछे, वो control कर रहा है. HPA is the horizontal pod auto scaler for all the experienced ones, It maintains a minimum replica of 2. Okay, so the pod started again, and I think this is not working. The mic working? Yeah? Okay. Then I thought कि चलो ठीक है. I had a rivalry with HPA. Then after that, I got to know that there is a deployment over there, which is a governing body of the pod. I went and I said कि चलो deployment बैठा है, तो deployment delete करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, I deleted the deployment. Now we got to know that deployment, or kind of a stateful set or daemon set, whichever it is a father of pod basically. So it's not a naked pod. It's governed by a body, which could be a deployment or some many other objects. Then I got ठीक है, deployment delete कर देते हैं. I deleted the deployment. It again came back. I was like, how it is possible now? How could the deployment came back? Any guesses, team? How can the deployment come back to my Kubernetes cluster? I'd like to know the guesses.
Maybe Argo is managing it.
You don't have to answer. Okay, so I got to know that.
Wait. Just a second.
Argo is here, and Argo was in the AutoSync. Argo is a GitOps model, and just to give you a small kind of a technical glance, Argo is basically a manager who synchronizes your GitHub repository manifest with the existing cluster manifest, It has auto heal feature, which automatically syncs your configurations in your cluster. So then I got to know that cursor broke. Yeah. Then I got to know that Argo is God, and it manages everything inside the box. So that was the first instance, and then I got to know, before I got to know about Argo, I was like, you know, you all have seen this ad, right? ये दीवार टूटती क्यों नहीं है भाई? So I was in that expression कि यार ये pod delete क्यों नहीं हो रहा है? Because it was such a simple task. So my confessions over here, the learning points from this. First is always see that if any external identity is managing your Kubernetes cluster, that is, if there is a Helm release, do we have Argo enabled? Do we have third-party tools like DevTool also has a tool, right? And there will be multiple other orchestrators of your Kubernetes cluster. So keep that in mind. And there are multiple CRDs as well, which maintains your cluster. So just a heads up, because whenever you perform any sensitive operations on your cluster, make sure that you know that manifest has been controlled by whom. Good. That was the first instance of my childhood. After that, I got a small task. So we maintain multiple clusters inside the production. And in the production system, we have one in East US, one in West US, one in Europe, and whatnot. But the catch is only a single bastion accesses all these clusters inside our environment. Now the bastion is connected with 4 clusters which look exactly similar because they are exactly replicas of the same application. And I was like, I need to change the manifest inside the stage cluster. So I was like, okay. I made an update in the config maps because I knew I was in a stage cluster. Then I moved forward. I updated the config maps. And suddenly, I got these. I suddenly got calls. I suddenly started getting smoke failures. I got multiple calls from one and only Opsgenie, or you can call it PagerDuty. And I was like, कुछ तो गड़बड़ हो गई है. And I realized that it was not safe. It was a production cluster. And my expression after knowing that was, now because I had access to production as well, this happens. So what you need to do, what you need to understand over this, okay. Before applying anything to the Kubernetes cluster, this is again a confession, or you can say it, take back from the session. First is always see where you are as on the cluster. Basically, if your bastion is connected with multiple clusters, you have stage, you have prod, you have different environments which are the private clusters, and you have access to all of those. In that scenario, always try to initially get the context of your cluster. Kubernetes config current context. What it gives, now I'm going a bit technical. There is a kubeconfig file which is maintained, and it has all the configurations of the cluster, basically your CS certificates or the host URL, the tokens and whatnot. So it has access, and that is a single file, and it sets the context. So whenever you apply any action on any cluster, and you know that the similar machine has access to multiple clusters, always check the context of your cluster. It can prevent you from disasters. Why? Because we know that multiple times companies maintain similar clusters across multiple regions. Correct. So this is the first confession. Second is try to run dry runs before. Whenever you do sensitive operations of the cluster, like create, delete, or manifest change, always try to do a dry run before the before actual application of the commands. Why? Because whenever you do a delete namespace, it doesn't ask you yes or no, right? It just deletes it, and if it deletes, then you might get call from other persons as well, not from Opsgenie, right? So and last thing is because that I was in a very hurry, kabhi nahi. Last point, it's a patthar ki lakeer. Never do deployments on Friday night when you are in hurry कि मुझे निकलना है, मेरा दोस्त वेट कर रहे हैं, मुझे क्लब में जाना है, I have a dinner party planned. never do deployments on Fridays. That's the second confession, ladies and gentlemen. And moving to the third one. Now, this is a step where I have felt the maturity of Kubernetes and the potential it holds. I regularly had arguments with my dev teams. They were like, yeah, and they were using an application which was bustable. What I mean by bustable is basically a test lands on the system, and suddenly its CPU and memory spikes, and it spikes at such an extent that it starves all the other pods on the node. So what I mean by that, let's say you have 100 MB की memory and 500 milli का core, and you have limits of 2 GB का core and 2 GB 2 core का CPU. Suddenly a user do something odd जिससे कि request इतनी ज़्यादा spike हो जाती है कि it takes the resources of your pod, and because node stars, it kicks out the rest of your pods.
So was it through traffic or
It was traffic. It was traffic. So how the things goes inside is we land customers test case on the pod, and if they have badly written code or they have leaks in their code, it happens with us as well. So then I was like, every time devs what they used to do कि यार resources बढ़ाए थे, कोई बात नहीं, resources बढ़ाए थे, स्टार हो रहा है, resources बढ़ाए थे. लाइक हर बात पे रिसोर्सेज कैसे बढ़ा देते हैं. हमारा बिल $50,000 से $1,00,000 पहुंच जाएगा तुम्हारे रिसोर्सेज के चक्कर में, राइट. सो देन आई गॉट टू नो दैट दिस इज व्हाट हाउ वी यूज्ड टू जगल. आई वाज लाइक यार यूटिलाइजेशन तो है ही नहीं, देयर इज नो यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ द पॉड्स, एंड दे वर लाइक इंक्रीजिंग द मेमोरीज अगेन एंड अगेन. आई वाज लाइक कि भाई बहुत जगह है, इतना कहाँ है यूटिलाइजेशन. दे वाज लाइक नहीं यूटिलाइजेशन इज गोइंग हाई. The confessions over here is now again the technical base. So we have a use case that in which there are certain namespaces in which applications run. Okay. Now in each application, you need to understand that we need to put resource quotas, and that is a very, very must. Why? Because we don't want a single namespace to acquire whole node, right? I don't want it to kick out all of my other pods. Now, because one was very important thing that the daemon sets, all the experience ones over here, the daemon sets have the lowest priority, right? And the Prometheus runs as the daemon set. And if Prometheus kicks out, Prometheus, we lose the matrices. And if we have a logging agent, we also lose the logging, right? Because they get kicked out because the node was starving. Now, क्या गलती हुई है blocks के साथ? We don't know. Why code failed? We don't know. Correct. So that's the very important thing, that you put the resource quotas on your namespaces. Now, even when I put the resource quotas, it was not sufficient enough. Why? Because a single pod was scaling high, right? So we got to a second confession, that limit range is very, very important. So all the experience done over here, limit range, or to all the newbies inside the Kubernetes environment or Kubernetes Jagat, I would say. Limit range, okay, let's say we have a room, okay, just for demo purpose. We have a room and 5 of us are sitting over here, and we need to sleep. Now one of us comes over here and he has a habit कि हाथ पैर फैला के सोता है बिल्कुल, okay, and what does he do is he acquires the whole bed, so all of us gets locked out of the bed. That's exactly what a pod do. If the pod is busting out of its resources, it acquires my node and kicks out all the others. So I don't want a singular masculine pod, obviously, right? Because I don't want others to get knocked out. That is why limit range is again admission controller. What does the admission controller do? It specifies what resources as a min or max you can give to a certain pod at a admission time. Basically, admission controller is something which intercepts your pod creation request at the time of creation at the API server. Not going too technical because it's a birthday. And the last confession over here, when I had a tussle with my devs, is they are like, यार तुम proper capacity planning नहीं कर रहे हो, तुम्हारा बिल इतना ज़्यादा आ रहा है, लोड यूज हो नहीं रहे हैं, और हमारी एप्लीकेशन भी फट रही है. तीनों चीजें खराब हो रही है, तुम कर क्या रहे हो? अरे बात तो सही है. So we did something interesting and it is called capacity planning in Kubernetes and it is very very important. Why? Because पैसा बहुत आता है nodes को चलाने का if you have GPU attached or you have some ML models attached to it. Second is क्योंकि we want the highest performance out of our workloads, right? So that there are 4 points I have mentioned over here because anyone who are doing the capacity planning of Kubernetes clusters or pods, these are the things which we need to remember. QoS is basically a quality of service of the pods, which could be bustable. We just got to read these. Second is priority class, which pod will get evicted if it starts. If the node has no resources, Kubernetes will automatically kick out some of the resources. And here comes the priority class. You can mention that I don't want my logging pods to get kicked out because they are very, very important. If I lose the customer logs, I'll be doomed. Right? So you can define the priority class of your pods. You can maintain the replica count according to your traffic and selection of your perfect node. The node which has not much memory, which node has not less memory, which can accommodate my request, and I have an estimation of how much throttle will it go, or like how much utilization it can use. That's the third confession which I have. Thanks, that's my time, and I'll open the section for the Q&A because I'm very, very sure that most of us has felt or have seen some great difficulties while configuring the Kubernetes cluster. And as Sunand has greatly given us a glimpse about how the Kubernetes has evolved over time, we have also evolved over time, and we have realized how powerful that tool is. It's beautifully crafted, to be very honest, and it has approximately everything that can be accommodated. कुछ भी कर सकते हो आप उसके अंदर. To be very, very honest, you have any request, you have Kubernetes over there. It will accommodate all of your requests. So I'll open the house for the Q&A. Team, go ahead, shoot some questions.
What's the worst nightmare have you felt with Kubernetes? सबसे बड़ा जो जीवन में किया हुआ.
जीवन का सबसे बड़ा fuck up I made was I took down customers' proprietary data. Now what had happened is basically I'll share it.
Everyone does that. मेरे साथ भी हुआ.
हुआ है ना? ठीक है. I'm not feeling FOMO now. So what happened is we have a logging collector which runs on the pod, and there are some CRDs which it uses. The OpenTelemetry has CRDs. So just to set the context, the OpenTelemetry uses some CRDs which has already installed inside the cluster to get the logs, because OpenTelemetry is now a common norm for the logging and monitoring. But that OpenTelemetry collectors or the CRDs were expired. We updated the cluster very gladly, but we didn't updated the CRD versions of the OpenTelemetry. And what happened after that is it went into the break loop again and again. Now we had a configuration that logs are very must, and whenever the logs don't come, it tries to spin up an alternate Prometheus or alternate Loki collector inside my pods. Now, as collector or the logs totally went down, I started running the Loki collectors inside the Kubernetes. But the problem was we didn't configure the resources on the Loki collectors. Now the Loki bust out in my cluster and it kicked out the stateful sets of the customer. वो तो अच्छा था कि stateful sets के साथ PVC attached थी, and customer was kind enough to give me a certain 30 minutes of access to go inside their own clusters. So I took the backup of the PVC and stored them inside the another PVCs. So that was the worst nightmare. And that is why, team, I like to say that Kubernetes is a beautiful tech, but always with great power comes great responsibility, obviously. बहुत simple सा use case है, if we have very straightforward use case, that's fine. But if we are running on the scale, we have production workloads, we have we are utilizing multiple amplitude of services of Kubernetes. Make sure that you have everything in right place, because mostly कुछ नहीं फटेगा, सब फटेगा फ्राइडे को और तुम्हें वीकेंड को बैठना पड़ेगा, right? And this generally happens. जो अब तक सही चल रहा है, फिर हमें गलती उसी दिन पता पड़ती है. So yeah, next question.
जैसे मतलब as you were mentioning out, ठीक है, कि
सबको समझ
as you were mentioning out कि वो थॉरोपोड साइकोलिटीज जो थी, तो आई फेस अ प्रॉब्लम जहाँ थॉरोपोड आता है और जितने देर में चीज़ें आप होती है लोड बैलेंसर उतने देर में ट्रैफिक चला जाता है, उसको कैसे मिटिगेट कर सकते हैं कि हाउ इज दैट प्रोसेस पॉसिबल?
If I understood the correct question right, name Harsh said कि यार we have a load and जब तक कि auto scale होता है, the load goes out of control and my applications start to give 502 or something like that, right? Very good use case. Team, you all know the Hotstar, right? How Hotstar works. Hotstar has the best chaos engineering in the world. Not world, I've exaggerated it, but in India at least, I would say. Why? उसका स्पाइक आता है 5 CR. व्यूअर, यू हैव सीन दैट, राइट? धोनी बैटिंग करने आया 7 CR. धोनी आउट हो गया 2 CR. ठीक है? Now this jump inside the traffic actually kills the best application in the world. Your database connections, your transactions inside your database, your scaling actually falls apart when such kind of a huge traffic hits your clusters or workload. So the question which Harsh has said, again, birthday का टाइम है, थोड़ा कम टेक्निकल रखूंगा, ठीक है? But there are always logical layers inside the Kubernetes. There are called the custom CRDs or the manual auto scaling. You can use Kida or customize anything to maintain your traffic, to regulate your traffic. Let's say if your traffic is not dependent upon CPU, it's traffic dependent upon the bytes or the connections. So you can give a custom matrix. क्या बहुत सारे कनेक्शन बन रहे हैं, लेट्स स्केल अप, बिकॉज लेट्स से योर सीपीयू मेमोरी इज फाइन बट योर आईओप्स आर गेटिंग एग्जॉस्टेड, तो उस केस में यू कैन गिव कस्टम मैट्रिक्स एंड स्केल योर पॉड्स अकॉर्डिंगली, बिकॉज बाय डिफॉल्ट Kubernetes only supports the CPU and memory.
just to add to it, you also need to keep in mind कि स्केल कब होगा एप्लीकेशन. स्केलेबिलिटी लगा दिया CPU 70% पे, लेकिन मेरे एप्लीकेशन को स्टार्ट होने में 1 मिनट लगता है, तो दैट 1 मिनट वुड गिव यू 502. So you need to make sure कि 40% पे हो, क्योंकि 1 मिनट लगने वाला है तो उतने टाइम में वो स्केल आउट हो जाएगा. So there are a lot of capacity planning that you need to do if you want to have like the exact best auto scaling thing.
And इसी के अंदर एक और अच्छी चीज है लाइफ साइकिल हुक्स.
Yes.
So basically what the buddy said, if your pod takes 1 minute to spin up, let's say it needs to connect the database, उसको बाहरी बात करनी है, उसको दूसरी माइक्रो सर्विस भी देखनी है कि वो चल रही है कि नहीं चल रही है, let's say. So in such scenarios, you have life cycle, liveness probe, readiness probe, startup probes. So just read about those if you are new to it. वो उसमें आप चेक कर सकते हो. You hit an endpoint, or you can use a custom endpoint of your own and see if now is it ready enough to take the traffic, and then you can spin up the pod and allow the traffic on it. Because जब तक कि liveness probe active नहीं आता, तब तक वो Kubernetes तब तक उस पर शेड्यूल नहीं करेगा ट्रैफिक, जब तक कि वो हेल्दी स्टेट में नहीं आएगा. इफ योर रेडीनेस प्रोब इज नॉट रेडी और नॉट हेल्दी, ट्रैफिक वोंट गो टू दैट पॉइंट.
Good question.
So this is a very good question actually. So the question our buddy has is basically, you are an HDFC bank, okay, the similar use case which we have seen. HDFC बैंक से आप अपने 4 साल 5 साल का ट्रांजैक्शन रिकॉर्ड मांग लेते हो.
3 दिन लगता है हमको भेजने में.
हाँ, 4 साल 5 साल, एंड लेट्स से यू आर यूजिंग करंट अकाउंट एंड यू आर बढ़िया का बेटा, then in that case your transactions would be in thousands and thousands for last 3 years or last 2 years. इनकम टैक्स फाइल करना है 1 साल का ही मंगा लो चलो. तो the one who is sitting on the चावड़ी बाजार की गल्ला, he will have n number of transactions, right? Now these transactions are stored in the database, and HDFC आपके लिए डेटाबेस में इतना बड़ा स्पाइक नहीं मार देगा कि वो डेटाबेस से एक बार में 10,000 रिकॉर्ड लेकर के आ जाए, obviously, right? So in such scenarios, that the person rightly said, we create the jobs which are independent of my own infrastructure. मेरी माइक्रो सर्विस जहाँ चल रही है वहां तो नहीं चलाएंगे इसको, because obviously I don't want it to intercept my own request. Correct? The second thing is very interesting, and I like you all to brainstorm as well. Here it takes time. It wants me कि आप जरा ठहरें, सब्र करें, 10 मिनट में आपको रिपोर्ट मिल जाएगी, और it triggers your report on your email after half an hour or 1 hour, right? So as answering your question, this very good approach, and it's a very intuitive general notion कि यार there is something which is non-expected, मुझे नहीं पता कब आने वाली है, और आती है तो बहुत तेज आती है जॉब, ठीक है. So and in such scenarios I don't know how its behavior is going to be. So let's separate it out first and foremost inside the different node and different namespace and separate from my own microservices. Fine. Second thing, as you rightly said, that now that job needs to be bustable because I don't want it to throttle or starve my pods. Let's say अगर वो बहुत compute use कर रहा है, let's say it needs to generate a report, a PDF report or any kind of report. Reports are always compute intensive to generate or process inside your pod. We want it to be throttled. We want it to be performant enough, right? So first उसको बढ़िया node दो so that it gets your job done. And second is because it's job वो काम करे खत्म हो जाएगी और खत्म हो जाएगी तो pod आपका scale मतलब node आपका वापस नीचे भी आ जाएगा, right? At top of my mind right now because I'm not very sure about your use case. This is very good approach which you are following right now, and it's the ideal scenario which I can think of right now.
140-150%. So we often reach 140-150% of the limit resources itself. And
Limit resources?
Yes, limit resources. And what it takes, it takes like what I at least assume that it creates a noisy neighbor problem for other pods, and which is very hard to be identified immediately on production. So you do not have any direct way to identify like what other pod it has impacted. So is there any way you see that we can mitigate such issues, or is there any way we can pretty straightforward identify what ports it is creating the issue for, right? Or maybe I'm presuming it wrongly. Like what are your views on this?
Okay, so दीपक ने एक बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन पूछा है, and I guess we'll figure आप लोग जैसे आगे बढ़ते जाओगे you will face it very often that your limits are breached. Let's say होता क्या है कि you have a pod and it is utilizing some resources. You are given a request. Initially request के जितने resources होते हैं वो उतने consume वो कर लेता है, मतलब रिजर्व कर लेता है अपने पास pod. But it has a scope of limits as well. Now as Deepak said कि limits भी breach हो रही है pod की. In that scenario, first and foremost आपको ये देखना है कि trend क्या है उस pod का. Does it usually breaches your limits? And second thing is if it is breaching the limit, CPU की लिमिट करा तो throttle होगा, कोई बात नहीं. लेकिन अगर RAM की लिमिट breach हुई, it will get killed instantaneously because no. In the pods we have requests and limits. Let's say example of not gaming, Nginx let's say minimum 150 M में चल जाता है, and we usually give a limit as well कि एक दिन बहुत ही ज़्यादा ट्रैफिक आ गया, ठीक है, तो हम कितना उसको लिमिट देंगे, मतलब कि तो कहाँ तक और स्केल हो सकता है. Now Deepak, as you said, there are two things in this scenario. First is कि यार it is always beneficial to scale horizontally rather than vertically, right? तो अगर आपको लग रहा है कि it is reaching the request, तो get an HPA first and foremost कि भाई उसका रिक्वेस्ट इतना जा ही कैसे पा रहा है अगर HPA ऑलरेडी है तो.
But again, somebody mentioned about scaling.
Got it. So what Deepak is saying, and very general notion, जितनी देर में ऑटो स्केलिंग वर्क कर रही है उतनी देर में आपका ट्रैफिक इतना ज़्यादा हो जा रहा है कि इट्स किलिंग माई पॉड्स और हैंडलिंग माई ट्रैफिक और टेकिंग डाउन माई होल एप्लीकेशन. ओके, एंड इट हैपेंस इन सच अ वे दैट आपका यूटिलाइजेशन जा सकता है. देन इन दिस सिनेरियो एज वेल, if it is happening regularly, you have HPA enabled, you have done all your engineering on the Kubernetes that HPA भी है, preemptive scaling भी है, मतलब मान लो 50% ही अगर हिट हो जा रही है उसकी रीच या 60% है तो ही मैं स्केल अप कर दे रहा हूँ. We usually do on 80 or 85. In this scenario, we use custom metrics like if someone is doing a DDoS on your pod, first and foremost तो load balancer पे हैंडल हो जाना चाहिए, but again मान लो कि आ गया अंदर तक DDoS अटैक, so in such scenario what you do is you can use Kira और custom metrics. Again ट्रैफिक पैकेट्स इतने ज़्यादा आ रहे हैं और डेटा बाइट्स इतनी ज़्यादा आ रही है कि हैंडल नहीं कर पा रहे. So let's say if you have a node of standard machine and standard has 6,000 to 10,000 IOPS, right? अगर आपकी डेटा बस यू आर अवेयर राइट, सो अगर डेटा बस और अगर आपकी जो डेटा के पैकेट्स है पाइप्स है वो एग्जॉस्ट हो जा रहे हैं, देन इन दैट केस फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट ट्रैफिक चल जाएगा उससे सारा, कुबरनेटिस यूज नहीं करना पाएगा. एंड सेकंड इज प्रीएम्प्टिव स्केलिंग, जिसको कहते हैं प्रिडिक्टिव स्केलिंग बेसिकली. इफ यू आर सीइंग द increase in your metrics going up or scaling going up, trigger an alert, और there's a CloudWatch में आप metrics लगा सकते हो. आपको पता पड़ जाएगा कि यार in the span of 5 seconds or 10 seconds ट्रैफिक बहुत तेज ऊपर जा रहा है. तो you can trigger a cloud function itself, जो कि डेफिनेटली उसको या तो उस आईपी को ब्लॉक करे जहां से इतना ज्यादा तेज ट्रैफिक आ रहा है, या फिर प्रीएम्प्टिव स्केलिंग स्टार्ट कर दे पहले ही, कि आपका जब तक 90% रीच होगा, तब मतलब अगर मान लीजिए आपका एचपी 4 पॉड चला रहा है, चारों पर 90% रीच होगा, तब तक तो शायद आपका पॉड आ जाना चाहिए ऑब्वियसली.
I understand, like I know A from application B also might be getting impacted, but I'm not aware of it, right? So is there any way to figure that out proactively?
Sorry to interrupt you. So after the celebration thing, we have an unconference. In this, we discuss a complete story. ठीक है? Because I actually faced this issue yesterday for a client, and पूरा setup किया from Cloudflare till Kubernetes thing. So I will share that complete story with you. Cool. I'll take a few questions if time permits from some beginners who have been starting with the Kubernetes journey. You have a question? Okay. So yeah, go ahead. If you have any doubts or anything which you would like to mention as a beginner or as a starting person. नाइस. यार एक बात बताओ, क्यूबरनेटिस यूज क्यों कर रहे हैं? दिस इज अ वेरी बिग क्वेश्चन. एंड अरे यार ये बहुत ही बढ़िया क्वेश्चन. देखो कंप्यूट एक चीज है, मेरा सिस्टम है, मेरे सिस्टम में मैं कुछ भी एप्लीकेशन चला लेता हूँ, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? मेरे को क्यूबरनेटिस क्यों यूज करना है? मेरे को सीखना ही पड़ेगा, मेरे को कंटेनराइज भी करना पड़ेगा, मेरे को उसके बाद मैनिफेस्ट भी लिखनी पड़ेगी, उसकी कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया मेंटेन भी करना पड़ेगा, उसका पैसा भी आएगा. कंट्रोलर पॉड मतलब जो मास्टर नोड है, मास्टर नोड का हमेशा ही पैसा आता है, भले आप कोई भी नोड मत चलाओ, ओवरहेड तो है. तो मेरे को क्यों करना है इसका काम, राइट? नॉट ऑल डिपेंड्स अपॉन द यूज केस. आपका यूज केस क्या है? इट इज अगेन टीम. इट्स नॉट एट ऑल इम्पॉर्टेंट टू यूज क्यूबरनेटिस ऑल द टाइम. नहीं यूज करना है जब तक यूज केस ऐसा नहीं है, एंड यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द यूज केस फर्स्ट. अगर आपका यूज केस है, मेरे पास बहुत सारी माइक्रो सर्विसेज है, मेरे पास बहुत सारे लर्निंग एनवायरनमेंट्स है, मेरे पास बहुत अच्छा ट्रैफिक आता है जो मैं प्रिडिक्ट नहीं कर सकता बहुत एक्यूरेटली, एंड आई हैव मल्टीपल सीक्रेट्स एंड मैनिफेस्ट, एंड मैं बार बार कोई वीएम में जाकर के PM2 रिस्टार्ट नहीं करना चाहता हूँ ऑब्वियसली, राइट? एंड मुझे प्रॉपरली CI/CDs बनानी है. दैट डिपेंड्स अपॉन कि आपका प्रोजेक्ट क्या है या फिर आपका यूज केस क्या है, राइट? Let's say you are running an enterprise, you are running your hobby project, right? And hobby project में आपने tic-tac-toe बना दिया या फिर snake game बनाया. Now you're not going to host a Kubernetes cluster to run a tic-tac-toe, right? Now it depends upon कि कितने लोग उसको use कर रहे हैं. The power of Kubernetes runs in the orchestration. Like when Sunand का talk था, तो someone said कि यार someone किसी का question था ये, I forgot actually कि what's the use case? Basically, the power of Kubernetes क्यों use कर रहे हैं Kubernetes? Kubernetes is an orchestration engine. Basically, वो Docker भी नहीं है, वो आपका माइक्रो सर्विस भी नहीं है. It's an orchestration. वो देखा ऑर्केस्ट्रा देख रहे हैं? ऑर्केस्ट्रा देखा? वो यूं करता रहता है ऐसा. यही काम है Kubernetes का बेसिकली. आपके बहुत सारे इंस्ट्रूमेंटलिस्ट बैठे हैं, and those are your microservices or pods, and the Kubernetes will be like, अब आप नीचे, अब आप ऊपर, अब ट्रैफिक इधर, राइट? एंड दैट इट डूज बिकॉज इट नीड्स टू फॉर्म द मेलोडी. बेसिकली इट नीड्स टू रन योर क्लस्टर परफेक्टली. So that is the use case of Kubernetes itself. Docker बिल्कुल अलग है, वो कंटेनर चलाना आप बिना Kubernetes के भी चला सकते हो. You need just Docker runtime. Again, आपका नाम देवाशीष. So Devashish, it's not at all mandatory to use Kubernetes all the time. It's all depends upon the use case. जैसे जैसे आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग बढ़ेगी चीजों को लेकर के, you will get maturity upon how the scale works or how the infrastructure works. You will already decide यार यहाँ तो सर्वरलेस से काम हो जाएगा, यहाँ तो क्लाउड फंक्शन से काम कर दूंगा मैं, इसका मेरे को क्यों Kubernetes बनाना है, या फिर तो मेरी EC2 में ही चल जाएगा हमेशा, क्यों बनाना है, राइट? सो इट्स अ gradual process, and yeah, just for clarification, it's not at all mandatory to use Kubernetes all the time. ECS is a compute engine.
So
अच्छा, elastic container service. Okay. So I can take that. Majority, if you look at the last Gartner report, 90% of folks who use Kubernetes don't need Kubernetes. So होता क्या है? Deployment on Kubernetes might be easy, but it's not always worth it. So we have been recently migrating a lot of clients on ECS just because of the cost factor. But overhead बढ़ जाता है क्योंकि क्या है कि अभी as he said, secrets management, any CRD management is very easy in Kubernetes, but ECS वगैरह में you have to look at everything. Like retool is something that I integrated yesterday into ECS. Kubernetes में कुछ नहीं करना है, बस helm deploy करना है, पूरा deploy हो गया. इसमें मुझे Terraform से deploy करना था. I had to do a lot of things because I wanted to integrate in my Terraform. तो you need to understand कि मेरी requirement exactly है क्या. And ECS beyond the scale won't work for you. Like 10 से 15 माइक्रो सर्विस के ऊपर चले जाओगे तो मैनेजिंग उसके टास्क डेफिनेशंस, उसके सर्विसेज, उसके एड-ऑन्स, it becomes slightly difficult. So when you start comparing like कोई भी एप्लीकेशन कहाँ डिप्लॉय करना है, create a table, have certain pointers which we can of course discuss about कि ये रिक्वायरमेंट्स है मेरी, ये किस में ज्यादा सूट होती है. बिकॉज when you set up Kubernetes for one micro service, अब इस एक माइक्रो सर्विस अगर ये स्केल भी नहीं कर रहा है, खाली एक पॉड चल रहा है, तो you are paying, let's take example of AWS क्योंकि इसमें कंट्रोल प्लेन का कॉस्ट आता है, ठीक है, और साथ में एक्स्ट्रा एड ऑन सर्विसेज भी चलती रहेंगी हमेशा जो मैंडेटरी है, क्यू प्रॉक्सी, CNI, ये चलेंगी. तो you have to at least pay $70-80 महीना फालतू में. मेरा एप्लीकेशन कॉस्ट $10 है यार, $70 में Kubernetes क्यों दे रहा हूँ? तो अनलेस की एक तो कॉस्ट वाला फैक्टर आ गया, दूसरे परफॉर्मेंस वाला फैक्टर आ गया, जहां पे सब जिस डायरेक्शन में पॉइंट करेगा वो पिक करना होता है. बट या दिस इज वेरी टीडियस प्रोसेस, पूरा डॉक्यूमेंट बनता है एंड ऑन सर्टेन क्राइटेरिया एज आई सेड कि आपके लिए क्या क्या क्राइटेरिया है वो सारे मैच करके देखो, और जब वो वेरीफाई हो जा रहा है, एंड आई वुड से फॉर स्मॉलर एसएमबीज जिनका हाइपर स्केल वगैरह नहीं है, they are very good on ECS. Like I have migrated recently, and the billing cost can be reduced by up to 60-70%. And यहाँ पे मैं Graviton, Spot, इनके integration की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. I'm only moving EKS to ECS. So you have to understand what exactly your thing is, and then decide कि मुझे ये करना है फिर ये करना है. No. ECS is also well and good. So scaling की एक बहुत important बात ये होती है कि you should know how to scale. अगर मान लो मैं node फॉर्मेट में स्केलिंग कर रहा हूँ अपने एप्लीकेशन को, अब मेरा नोड लेता है 3 GB रैम और 2 vCPU, और अभी टारगेट की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, नॉर्मल नोड स्केलिंग की बात कर रहा हूँ. तो अगर मैं जो नोड का मैंने पूल बनाया है उसमें मतलब मैंने उसको 4 GB वाला दे दिया, तो 1 GB हर एक इंस्टेंस से खाली जा रहा है, तो वेस्ट हो रहा है. तो वहां पे कॉस्ट ऑप्टिमाइजेशन में ये देखना पड़ेगा कि सिर्फ एप्लीकेशन स्केल नहीं करना है, उसके पीछे का इंफ्रा स्केल करना, वो भी ऑप्टिमाइज हो, बिकॉज कहीं भी ऑप्टिमाइजेशन गया बिल फालतू में पड़ेगा. सो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड उसके सभी कि मुझे सर्वरलेस जाना है या सर्वर्स यूज करने हैं. अगर सर्वर्स यूज करने हैं तो फिर उनको कैसे मॉडिफाई करना है चीजों को. बट अगर स्केलिंग की बात कर रहे हो तो both are completely capable because ECS are being used by a lot of bigger companies and they are hyper scaling it. Like you use Kubernetes for hyper scaling, ECS also hyper scale. ऐसी कोई दिक्कत नहीं आती है उसमें.
Okay, team, I'll wrap up the session, and here's my LinkedIn. If you guys like to connect over it, most welcome. And if we have some discussions or some great problems which we have, I'll be happy to